Hey everyone, it's Ardith. Happy 2019. I hope you've had a fabulous break, but now it's time to work on those thank you cards. And in today's 2-minute tip, I'll show you some easy ways to use the inlaid die technique for a bit of a wow factor. I started with the folk heart dies. I cut the largest heart out of a piece of slate cardstock that had been cut to 4 inches by 5¼ inches. I already had a heart that I had previously watercolored with a rainbow of my Zig Art and Graphic twin tip markers. These bright colors are the perfect contrast for that neutral gray backdrop. When I have a big die cut like this, I use a scrap of computer paper, or in this case some of my grid paper, and I cut it just smaller than my top panel. I coat it with permanent adhesive, and then I lay it on the back side of the pieces and give it a good burnish from the back and the front to make sure that it's all stuck down. Now you could just stop here and either stamp a sentiment or glue a die cut sentiment on top. Or you could inlay another die into this panel. So that's just what I did. Yep, double inlay. Fancy, right? I got out my classic block alphabet set and chose the letters for thank. Actually, I chose thanks, but it quickly became apparent that the S was not going to fit, so I changed my plan. You always have to be flexible. I lined the letters up on my grid on my work surface, and I picked them up with some post-it tape. I like to cut the letters that will be inlaid first, and then the whole out of the panel. I find it's easier for me to keep track of any little bits, like the centers of letters. So I ran the thank you through my die cutting machine with a panel of white cardstock. Then I used the same thanks setup, made sure it was straight, and I ran it through again, this time cutting the letters out of the gray panel with the heart. Because the holes are so much smaller than the heart was, I just used plain Scotch tape over the back to provide a sticky place for my letters to land. Then I just flipped it over and started placing the letters into the appropriate spots. I poked the center of the A through into the white A and gave it a good burnish to make sure it was stuck down. I had some tape hanging over the right edge, but I just trimmed that with my scissors. Next, I used the U from Letterboard Script 2, and again, cut it from white cardstock before cutting it from my rainbow panel. This die had a few more little bits to keep track of, but I managed to do it. I have had times where I've lost one of the tiny centers and I've had to go back and cut another one, but hey, even that's not the end of the world. To finish the card, I used some of the Christmas lights droplets from Essentials by Ellen, and I placed them so that the colors would contrast. I backed my panel onto a simple white card base. I hope you feel inspired to give inlaid die cuts a try. You can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for even more inspiration. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.